Hi guys, ArchieLuxury, and who do I recommend in America? In America, who do I recommend for quality pre-owned wristwatches? DavidSW, DavidSW, DavidSW. Go to DavidSW.com. He is the best, the greatest pre-owned dealer in all of the United States of America. DavidSW, DavidSW, DavidSW.
Hi guys, it's your pontiff, Archibald Chesterfield III. And guys, I want to talk to you today. I was actually talking to a good fan of mine, really nice guy. He's helped me out a lot, and he's got a pretty spectacular collection. And I was just talking to him, and he told me, hey, I was thinking about selling a few pieces, and I got to tell you, I suddenly realized why I dislike the buying and the selling process. And the reason is, I got to be totally honest with you. What you're really, when you buy and sell things, you're really trying to get items as cheap as possible, and you want to, in due course, sell them for as much as possible. And although I'm very much a hypocrite myself, I've got double, triple standards, yep, you betcha. But when you look at this in your own life yourself, you think, I don't really like that kind of double identity. And it was quite interesting. It was quite interesting. I put a few feelers out, and it's funny. I don't even know if he wants to sell anything, but automatically people, oh yeah, I'd like this, I'd like that. People, they basically would eat shit to get a deal. Okay? I don't really like dealing with people at that extreme. They would eat human shit. Suddenly these people who are a bit snappy and nasty to you are your best mate. And I don't know what it is. It's just how it is. And I the whole flipping process, I got to tell you, I really don't enjoy. I don't enjoy buying. And this, I mean, it's okay if you can buy them really cheap. If you're a king, you're a king in the industry. But it's kind of, it kind of cheeses me off a bit. And when you're buying, you want to present as many faults or problems or flaws as you can. And when you sell, you want to get the most you can for something. And I got to tell you, I'm always very hesitant. I'm hesitant to sell my things. I got friends of mine who easily churn and burn. They'll buy a piece, quickly put it out there, buy a piece, put it out. They don't mind. But see, for me, I think if you have a good piece, a nice, honest watch, I'd rather keep it than experience new ones. If it's a good piece, I think they are few and far between. And I got to be honest with you, I'd rather the devil you know than the devil you don't. And it's an interesting mindset. It is very, very interesting mindset there. And it made me think, if you were to sell pieces, what would I do? And I think if you are in my own case, I'm a bit fortunate. I've got my YouTube channel. I could always put pieces on my YouTube channel. I could also, you know, I've got contacts, so I'm a little bit different to most people. But if for example, I was just a normal person who didn't have that, and I had some special pieces, I suppose, you know, I would probably sell it through dealers I trust. And in Australia, it depends where you are. If you're in Melbourne, I reckon Shawnee from European Watch Gallery would be the best dealer, especially for vintage or high-end Patek. If you're in Sydney, Luxuria, that's Cove, and Vintage Watch Co. And if you're in Brisbane, Vintage Watch Co. And I think if you wanted to get maximum dollar, you've got to have a good relationship with the vendor, the dealer. And if you want to sell it for cash, instant cash on the spot, you're not going to get as much as if you gave it on consignment. So I would probably sell things on consignment. The other thing is too, if you sell it on consignment, you can control what happens, in the sense that if you put it for consignment, you basically you put it for consignment, you know what he's going to sell it for, because he'll put it on his website, he'll put it out there. So say, for example, if you've got a Patek Calatrava, you'd say, well, I think it's worth, I need to net X dollars, and I think you should sell it for this. And if your prices are crazy, he'll say, look, I don't even want it. I don't want it at that price. And I think that way there, if you do the consignment model, you're probably going to maximize your return, and you're also going to, someone's not going to buy it for 20,000 and sell it for 50. You know, that's not going to happen, because you can see what they're going to sell it for. I must say, the whole buying and selling process, it's very, very, you know, you've got to have a price in mind. You've really got to have some prices. You've got to have your finger on the pulse. As a collector, you need to have your finger on the pulse. So I got a fan of mine. He's got a few really hot watches, and you've really got to know what you think they're worth. Whether you go on Chrono or eBay and have a look around what's similar, or other dealers, you've got to work out what are they going for, and you've got to allow a bit of margin on that. So I mean, if the same watch is on Chrono for say 50,000, obviously that's what a dealer would sell it for. You'd have to take a step back and say, well, the dealer would probably need to make 10 to 12.5% margin. He may need a little bit of, it may need a polish or something like that. You'd have to factor that into the price. You work backwards. So you've got to really know a price, because a lot of these collectors will say, hey, how much do you want? What do you want for this? What do you want for this? And you can't, it's unprofessional to say, hey, what do you think? What would you pay? Because they'll just lowball you. So you've got to have a price in mind. You got to know, the thing about being a collector with a portfolio like watches, you've got to know your stuff. You've got to know what it is, what are they going for, etc. And you've got to be a bit careful. Chrono 24, sometimes I've been in deals and people have said, oh, there's one on Chrono for this. Okay, let me have a look. Oh, it doesn't have papers. Oh, they've pinched the deployant clasp and they've put a tang buckle. You've got to know your stuff, because you need to be able to, someone puts an argument forward. I remember years ago, I wanted to sell my gold sub, and this idiot came to me and said, "Oh, I saw one in such and such." It was some auction site, and it was a lot cheaper than my price. I said, "Let me have a look. Let me have a look." And when I had a look, it had the wrong bloody bracelet. Yes, it was a gold sub, but the bracelet was not a Submariner gold bracelet. It was actually a gold bracelet from a Datejust. It was an oyster bracelet from a Datejust. So it didn't have the diver's extension link. And I said, "Hey, it's got completely the wrong bracelet. Do you realize how expensive that problem would be to fix? You'd have to buy a bracelet which is scarce as hen's teeth." I said, "That's completely, your argument is garbage." So you've got to be able to factor this in. This is the whole way. And I got to be honest with you, I really don't enjoy that kind of haggling with people. I got a few really good friends who are into it. You know, my friend, the collector who's got 60 watches, he loves buying and selling. How much they want, he's always... I hate that. I really hate discussing money with these things. I hate it. I hate it. I got to be totally honest with you. Now that I've built my core collection, what have I got? 4 Patek Philippe's. And I'm the first to admit they may not be the most desired Pateks, they may not be the modern sizings, but I love them. I love the World Time. I always wanted the 5110. The annual calendar, it's the same vintage as the World Time, and it's got such a great story. I got it for my 40th and I got it back. The 5127, well, that's basically a carry-on from my 5107 in white gold. I love that. And I got the buckle, the Pliant buckle, which is bloody hard to get. And I've got a beautiful 5196 manual wind and wear dress Patek. Beautiful, 4 pieces. Precious metal on leather strap. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The other side of my collection, I've got 3 Rolex Steel Sports. Submariner, 41 date, absolutely perfect. I've got the Explorer 2 42, got the new clasp. I like the newer clasps. They're all newer clasps. And I've got a wind and wear in the Milgauss. Then I want a chronograph, and I've always become the man on the moon. Man on the moon. I've got a man on the moon. Minty legend man on the moon. And to top that off, I've got a dress Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso Grand Date. Big size. It was for my 40th birthday. Absolutely love that watch. Amazing piece. Yeah, what a way to go. I honestly, I look at my collection, I'm not craving more. I feel full. Yes, if a Pepsi came up or a Panda came up at retail, of course I'd snap it up. Of course. But I'm not desperately plotting or scheming to get the next horological trollop. I'm comfortable. I've got enough watches. In fact, that's the reason I got rid of the Tudor. The Tudor, I thought, you know what? It is actually a really nice watch. The Tudor is a lovely, amazing bang per buck. It's a great watch. It's a fair, still a fair bit of money. I paid 4.4. I lost money when I sold it. But, you know what? I got the sub. Where my sub? Where your sub? Hey, Archie, you're nearly 50. Where the sub? Where the sub? Where the sub? And that's a good point. Just wear your sub, Arch. Wear the sub. Wear the sub. So, that's how I feel about buying and selling. Tell me what you think, guys. I hate it. I hate getting involved in the buy. That's why if someone said to me, how would you sell this? I'd say, look, go to a good dealer you trust. In America, DavidSW, he's a great guy. In Melbourne, Australia, Shawnee, European Watch Gallery. Brisbane, Vintage Watch Co. Sydney, Vintage Watch Co. And Cove at Luxury Watches. That's what I would do. Okay, guys, I will see you in the next one. Tell me what you think, and take care. Like, subscribe, and tell your friends, and don't be afraid to get a paid review. $50 for a paid review. It helps me stay full-time on YouTube, and I will see you in the next one. $50 paid review. I can't survive on Google Ads. I need your support. And guys, you could also sponsor me on Patreon. Patreon allows you to pay as little as $1 a month to keep me on YouTube. Hey guys, ArchieLuxury. Who do I recommend for watches in Brisbane and Sydney? Vintage Watch Co. That's correct. Vintage Watch Co. in Brisbane Arcade in Brisbane and the Strand Arcade in Sydney. Vintage Watch Co. Brisbane and Sydney. Ronnie, I've known him since the late 90s. Ronnie is a top bloke. Luke is a great guy. Vintage Watch Co. That is who I recommend in Australia. Check out Vintage Watch Co. and the guys' amazing range of watches. They also do service and repairs. Vintage Watch Co. That is where the Pontiff goes. You know, some of my Pateks came from Vintage Watch Co. That's right, guys. Vintage Watch Co.